From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, the Trojan football team's home opener is this weekend, and for the first time, Trojan fans will have the chance to enjoy a cold beer while watching the Trojans play in Veterans Memorial Stadium. Amy Austin has more on this game day edition.
A new drink option will be offered at football games. Veterans Memorial Stadium will now be allowed to sell beer after the successful sales throughout the 2014 baseball season.
We actually launched beer sales at athletic events this past season with baseball, launched it in February. It was after our Board of Trustees approved beer sales in our athletics venues at last December's board meeting. And as we launched it with baseball, we did not have any problems with crowd control or game management or underage drinking or any of those types of things.
Certain rules will be in place for beer sales, such as armbands and ID checks, to ensure a safe and fun environment.
From a game management standpoint, to make sure that we are employing all the industry standards in terms of safeguarding against those types of things, such as cutting off sales at the end of the third quarter, to make sure that our venues stay both fan and family friendly.
And while Athletic Director John Hartwell feels the sales will make a large profit, the main goal is fan experience.
Once it gets up to speed, that we can generate probably about $200,000 a year all in with all of our venues. But really the greater driving force is, again, going back to fan experience, giving our fans an amenity that they've come to expect in many other venues.
Not only will your money go to the purchase of a nice cold beer, but also it will help fund the North End Zone project.
Our plan with the additional new revenue stream is to utilize that to help fund a new North End Zone for football, which is a project that's been out there on the drawing board for a while. And you know, a lot of people say, well, gosh, do you really need more seats in the stadium? It's not so much about the seats in the stadium as much as it is about our day-to-day home for our football program.
Amy Austin, Troy TrojanVision News.
And we'll hear more about the Duke matchup later in today's show. Many students choose to attend a community college before they go to a four-year university. But according to statistics, many of those students don't actually graduate with their associate's degree. Well, this is where Troy is stepping in. Courtney Addison shows us how students will soon be able to finish that degree while getting credit at Troy.
Troy University has partnered with Southern Union Community College in Wadley to create the reverse transfer program.
Can you imagine running a race and not ever knowing that you crossed the finish line?
Chancellor Jack Hawkins Jr. and other Board of Trustee members met with Southern Union officials Thursday to publicly launch this program. This is how it works. A student who starts at Southern Union is short just a few classes from earning an associate's degree, but the student decides to transfer to Troy to earn a bachelor's degree. Southern Union will then accept courses taken at Troy and credit them towards the associate's degree. That way, a student could potentially earn 2 degrees, one from Troy and one from Southern Union.
You know, what this is going to do is going to allow us to demonstrate to the whole world what we already knew. Alabamians are smart people.
Troy prides itself in being a university that thinks outside the box.
Troy University has a long history of collaboration with the community colleges throughout the state of Alabama.
Chancellor Hawkins says this program is an easy way to better the state of Alabama as a whole.
We can reward people in a very symbolic fashion and a meaningful fashion, the more it translates into dollars and cents for those people and for the state of Alabama.
Troy University also donated to Southern Union Scholarship Bank. Courtney Addison, Troy TrojanVision News.
To Hawkins, this is just the first reverse transfer program. Troy is working on establishing this program with other community colleges around the state. And last fall, the city of Troy launched their 311 call center. This allows residents to call in at any time to ask questions or let the city know about problems. Mayor Jason Reeves says the call center gets about 29,000 calls each month. But now residents will have a new method of contacting the city. Courtney Addison explains.
Good afternoon, City of Troy 311.
If you're looking to put a request in through the City of Troy's 311 call center, you don't exactly have to hear that voice anymore. This week, the city officially launched its new 311 app. Mayor Jason Reeves says he's excited about this new addition.
Really what we want to do is provide ways for every generation to report something.
The app will submit your request to the call center via email. From there, the email is sent to the correct department and then followed up once the service has been taken care of.
And I would encourage people when you download the app, when you search for it, Troy, Alabama 311, because there are 311s all over. There are actually Troys all over in several different states. So
311 allows you to report any problems, from a dog barking constantly to a pothole and even their trash pickup running late. But the city is also working on a special part geared towards college students.
Also been working very hard on knowledge-based articles. So if you're a student that's never lived in Troy before, you may not know where do I go to get my car tag, or where do I go to do this or that. There are things that aren't related to the city that we have out there, so you can find out what you need to do. So if it's a city problem, we'll help you. If it's not, we'll try to point you in the right direction.
You can also send in pictures or video through the app. That way it's easier to get your exact problem fixed.
Reeves says over 200 Apple users have already downloaded the app and over 40 Android users have gotten it as well. Well, we'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see what's happening in Trojan sports. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Get your ass up. You're not sitting here. Yes, I am. Move. Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why are you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy TrojanVision News.
The Trojan football team traveled to Birmingham to take on UAB in their season opener and came away with a disappointing 48-10 loss. Clay Yeager gives us a recap.
The Trojans scored on their opening drive against the UAB Blazers in just 5 plays. However, that was all the offense could come up with, along with a field goal, and losing to the Blazers 48-10. Head coach Larry Blakeney took the loss upon himself.
You know, I got to take the blame, and you know the number will go on my record. You know, that's plain and simple. And I told the guys in there, you know, we need to put it behind you quick because we got a lot of work to do, obviously, and I got to do some things to get our team right.
Although Blakeney said he was liable for the loss, the team shared the blame on both sides of the ball.
We just need to keep up the intensity, you know. That's part of my fault. Should have kept on getting the offensive line down, you know, getting set up faster. That's on me.
You know, we just want to give our offense as many chances as we could, but we still can't blame it on them because they don't score. You know, if UAB don't score, they don't win. They put up 49 points. So,
senior wide receiver Chandler Worthy believes that one goal the team needs to work on is being positive on the sideline when adversity occurs.
You could tell we kind of lost our composure a little bit, and we were trying our best to get it back, but with so many young guys, it's kind of hard to just get them up and going and get them to understand that the way you react to things on the sideline, that people feed off that energy. So that's, I think, a big thing we need to work on this week.
Although the Trojans suffered a loss, Blakeney is already looking ahead for the next game.
We've lost to them before. This is the hardest one, though, and the most difficult probably will be to get over. We got to get over it quick. We got other fish to fry.
Clay Yeager, Trojan Sports Now.
And the fish they have to fry will be a game against Duke this weekend. They'll try to rally back after that tough loss to UAB as Trojans welcome the Duke Blue Devils to Veterans Memorial Stadium. Amy Alston gives us a preview.
Putting the loss behind, the Troy football team hosts Duke on Saturday for the first home game of the season. Head coach Larry Blakeney knows Duke is a tough team to face.
Duke, I'm telling you, man, I watched part of the championship game last year with FSU, and you know, they are very prolific, and they know exactly what they want to do, and their kids are smart and play hard.
This is the second year for Troy to play Duke. Troy lost 38-31 last year on the Blue Devils' home turf.
And we had a chance to get them last year up there, and had a call that called a touchdown back late in the game that would at least tied it.
With an ACC team coming into Veterans Memorial Stadium, the football players are excited for this matchup.
Just having a big team in our stadium, for one, to have us all ready to play, and hearing ACC gets everybody pumped. I mean, just hearing ACC and SEC gets everybody ready to go, so you'll see a lot more intensity out there this week.
We all eager to get this next game, put the last game behind us, and Duke coming in his first home opener. It's going to be a large crowd, a lot of family, friends be there, and we're just looking to come home with a win.
The football team is putting aside last week's game, and the focus for this week is to beat Duke.
We still want to beat Duke and find a way to beat Duke, and we'll have to have a great plan, and we'll have to execute it. And but it's a home game. It's a 6 o'clock kick, and we're excited about it, looking forward to it.
Saturday's game against the Blue Devils is the first time an ACC opponent has visited Veterans Memorial Stadium. And the Trojan soccer team continued their winning streak as they beat Kennesaw State 1-0 last Friday. Jacob Harrison has all the details.
In a physical matchup with Kennesaw State, Troy improved their record to 2-2 Friday, winning 1-0 in last weekend's Trojan Classic.
A good start, which you know, we did last weekend, so that was kind of the message to the team the rest of that half, and at halftime is, you know, it's going to be a battle. When you have a lead, especially a 1-goal lead in a game that's tight, it's going to get physical. You know, we just had to be ready for that, and you know, we're happy with how we finished that game. We battled for 45 minutes. You know, we'd like to have been a little bit better in that second half, but you know, you got to give the girls credit. They battled and we won the game. So.
Alyssa Jones, who set a school record for shots on goal just days prior to the game, scored in the 6th minute to give the Trojans the early lead. It was Jones' 3rd of the season and the 11th of her career. The goal would be the deciding factor of the game, as it was one of only 6 shots in the game, all for the Trojans.
So we knew coming into this one we had to play like we played against LSU, and we were like moving it, and we knew it was important to get one early so we could just kind of, because it's hot, so we wanted to get ahead early so we could just kind of sit behind and play.
Jones' stellar play wasn't the only on-field action worth watching. Physicality played a prominent role throughout the game.
Yeah, it's you know, you expect that when at this level. It's a physical game. You know, if we keep the ball moving, we get rid of the ball quickly, then there's less opportunities. But you know, they're a good team. They challenged us and we challenged them, so we're happy with it.
I think that we got called on a little bit more than we were actually fouling, but it was a really physical game. It's just going to get us more ready for conference when we get into conference.
Jacob Harrison, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The soccer team wrapped up their weekend with a 3-0 victory over Tennessee Tech on Sunday. The team travels to North Carolina this weekend to take on Gardner-Webb. The team will have their first ever night game at the Trojan Soccer Complex this Tuesday against Jacksonville State. And after a big Labor Day win at home against Southern Miss, the volleyball team continued their homestand as they opened the Trojan Invitational against Mercer Thursday night. Khadijah Torbert has the details.
The Troy volleyball team is hosting the Trojan Invitational, and Thursday night the team pulled a 5-match victory win over opponent Mercer. The fans really came out to support this win. Although the Trojans did come off with the win, head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick says the team still needs more defense, and Mercer was a very challenging team to go up against.
The players, we were struggling. We were not playing good defense. Mercer had one of the most outstanding defensive performances that I've ever coached against or seen. They outdug us by 18, and that typically doesn't happen to a team that wins. So, I mean, they were outstanding.
Kirkpatrick says this match really tested the team's mindset, and in the adversities they face, he's thankful for the win.
It's a good test of composure. we were down in the first game and managed to tie it up late and win in a lot of extra points. We've worked on our mental toughness quite a bit this season, and second game came out, we kind of did what we wanted to do in the second game. Totally lost our focus in game 3 when we were up big early, and we left them back in and gave them momentum to have to push us to 5. And luckily, everything we've been working on in practice helped us get over the hump and make some plays down the end and win it in 5. So it was a good team win. We always say that adversity shows character, doesn't build character, and we kind of showed our character tonight.
Khadijah Torbert, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
And the team played Alabama A&M in their second match of the tournament this morning and won 3-0. They wrapped up the Invitational with a match against Jacksonville State Friday night. And the cross-country team competed in their first meet this past Friday in the South Alabama Opener. The Trojans ran against the Auburn Tigers and the South Alabama Jaguars. Troy placed third in the women's competition with 69 points in the 4K race, while the men's competition placed third as well with 83 points in the 6K. Head coach Elliot Blount says his team has some areas they need to improve on.
We're going to mix it up with the competitors. Most of the people who competed, last week won't compete in 2 weeks, just to see, and then some will, but just to see, get a good cross section of, who's ready to step up and answer the bell, as far as competition goes.
The Trojans have the weekend off, but will compete in the Azalea City Classic in Mobile on the 12th. And we're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll learn about some ways Troy students are getting involved on campus. So don't touch that dial.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy TrojanVision News.
And Troy University's accounting students had the chance to meet face-to-face with practitioners in their field on Thursday. Whitney Hartzell gives us a look at this year's Accountancy Day.
The Sorrel College of Business hosted Accountancy Day. This is a great opportunity for students to network and create connections with local and national accounting firms that will hopefully lead to future internships and jobs.
It is a big opportunity for our students to have the ability to come and meet all the firm members and get to know the firms, because they're going to be probably going to work for those firms one day. So it gives them a chance, and they can ask anything they want to of the firms and get to know them better and know if they're going to be a fit for that firm. So it's really a great opportunity for our students, and we really appreciate so many firms coming out. We had a large number of firms. We had a big turnout today. It's been a great day.
This is the school's 23rd year hosting this event, and is always a success for students and faculty. Student Holly Verdon talks about why it's important for students to be involved at this event.
Definitely being a student at Accountancy Day, it's so important, because I know I got my job with my firm that I'm going to work for at the end of the month by coming to Accountancy Day, because if I hadn't come, I wouldn't have had an internship. So I believe it's really, really important to come, get to know all these firms and see where you fit in so you can have a job when you graduate college.
In the afternoon, a luncheon is held for faculty and students to recognize special alumni and faculty members. Amanda Freeman was a recipient of the Young Alumnus of the Year award and expresses how much it means for her to receive this award.
Oh, it's awesome. I think so fondly of this program and think that, I definitely wouldn't be where I am without it, and it has opened so many doors for me. I can't speak more highly of any other school of accountancy than the one here at Troy. I think that all of the students here are going to be so well prepared for the workforce, and that all the people who hire them will be so pleased.
Whitney Hartzell, Troy TrojanVision News.
This was the 23rd year Troy has held Accountancy Day. And Troy University is trying to promote a culture of reading on campus, and one of the ways it's doing so is by providing copies of the New York Times for students every day on campus. However, as Xavier Harris shows us, each Wednesday there's a way for students to expand their understanding of the articles in the paper.
Troy University students have the opportunity to learn about current events in the New York Times through Troy University's Time Talk. Each Wednesday at noon, students come out and faculty members give their opinion and lecture about current events happening throughout the week.
Today we're having Times Talk, so we have different faculty and staff members come out and talk about a topic of their choice from the New York Times and kind of share what they know with us. And it's a chance for students to interact with them as well outside of the classroom environment.
One student explains how important it is that students come out and know exactly what's going on in the world today.
Well, current events are important just for what they are. I mean, this is the world you live in, so you may as well be knowledgeable about it and be able to get different opinions and share that knowledge with each other, because someone else's perspective on an event may increase your knowledge since it's something different from what you already know.
The speaker at the Time Talk explains one important topic that most students would hear in their general studies biology course.
Well, the original question was about Darwin, but I turned it into a little bit about evolution, including Darwin and his role in all of this. I can't think of many things that are more important. Evolution is the field theory of the biological sciences. Biology only makes sense in evolution, in evolutionary terms.
One student explains how she feels it's good that faculty and students can bond outside of a classroom on a more personal level.
I work with Jonathan Seelan, so I come every Wednesday. And it's awesome to see just the different kind of faculty that come and talk about different things and what they like to focus on and how they present what is happening.
Xavier Harris, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Times Talk is held every Wednesday at noon in Trojan Center Room 119. Free lunch is provided to students who attend. And Troy is home to students from all over the world. The International Student Cultural Organization, or ISCO, is a group designed to bring that variety of cultures together to promote understanding. Shantia Wilson gives us a look.
Troy University is home to students from all over the world, and there is an organization on campus designed to help promote multiculturalism among students, the International Student Cultural Organization, or ISCO.
Basically where we are is we're a club that not only brings all the international students from over 67 representative countries here in our meetings today, but we also try to connect the international population with the domestic students, and that really is just being everybody to bring them together under one umbrella, and that's ISCO.
On Thursday night, ISCO held an election to select new officers for the organization for this school year.
The elections are actually imperative to what we do. We're a big team and we deal with a lot of international students and a lot of domestic students. So just in the sheer numbers, having the officers to help us out is going to be great, and they're really important positions.
The positions the students were running for at the meeting were promotional officer, activities coordinator, and treasurer. One student that was elected gave insight on his position and what he looks forward to during his term.
I organize activities, I give my opinion. That's what I like about the position and this chair, because I want to give my opinion, to organize, to make activities, to communicate with people from all over the world, from other countries. You know that ISCO is an international student organization, so I want to meet many people from all over the world.
The International Students Cultural Organization will hold its next meeting Thursday at 7 p.m. in the Hall of Honor. This is Shantia Wilson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And ISCO will hold their annual festival during homecoming week. It's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll meet one of Troy's newest senior vice chancellors. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
We're the stronger than we look type, the braver than you think type, the type that knows the time will come when we put type 1 behind us. We're the progress is inevitable type, the hopeful for a cure type, the type that will stop at nothing until type 1 becomes type none.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy TrojanVision News.
Walter Gavan was recently named Troy's new Senior Vice Chancellor of Advancement and Economic Development. Recently, I had the chance to sit down with Gavan to learn about his new position. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. They will be meeting the new Senior Vice Chancellor here at Troy University. My guest today is Walter Gavan. Thanks for joining me here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
And as I mentioned, the new Senior Vice Chancellor here on campus, and a lot of responsibilities for here at Troy University. But for folks here, tell us a little about your history and how you ended up getting here at Troy.
Well, I'm an Alabama country boy, so it's great to be back in Alabama. And what's taken me away from Alabama for 33 years is the Air Force. I was serving as a pilot and officer in the Air Force, but always looking forward to that time I could come back to Alabama, and I was very fortunate that Dr. Hawkins, who has been a friend and mentor over the years, offered me that opportunity recently to come join the Troy team, which is a great pleasure since I'm a Trojan alum through the graduate school with the Master's in International Relations.
And so now you've just recently been nearby, so it wasn't a big move for you to make it to Troy. So,
No.
so you're used to this area, right?
Yes, I know this. Air University, actually, my last assignment in the Air Force, I was vice commander of Air University at Maxwell, which is in charge of all of Air Force higher education, with the exception of the Air Force Academy. So this is a natural transition from the military to the civilian sector, but still doing that higher education mission.
And of course, is there, any kind of, I guess, big difference between dealing with the military versus the civilian sector in that respect?
Well, different requirements, obviously, in terms of what we're trying to achieve, and then working within the constraints of a different system. But still, the military, we have accredited institutions of higher education, work with SACs for that accreditation at Air University. So many of the same challenges, many of the same systems apply.
And now, one of the things when you assumed this role from John Schmidt, who had retired recently, there was a change in the title. And one of the changes in the title, Senior Vice Chancellor for Economic Development. And so one of those things, I guess now, greater emphasis for economic development through your position?
Yes, the position changed from advancement, external relations, which included enrollment at that point, to advancement and economic development. I no longer have responsibility for enrollment. So a much more externally oriented focus and a much broader focus. So I'm actually just met with Airbus yesterday, for example, in that role, and we'll be working harder with them about how we can partner with them at their Mobile facility, but with Lockheed Martin, Sikorsky, all of the businesses that we have here locally, to make those partnerships and those opportunities for working together even more definite, more specific, and finding new ways as well. Very exciting work.
And of course, a lot of emphasis, especially in recent years, has been on the economic struggles of the higher education system and the funding and things of that sort. So I would think that being in an economic development position, there could be some potential challenges for you maybe in the coming years.
Right, of course. I think everyone's feeling the pinch in higher education from some of the reduced funding, some of the enrollment challenges that all institutions face these days. But one of the ways that I think that we can recruit and enhance enrollment as well as increase the resources to the university is through that partnership with business and industry. And I'm going to be out there looking for those win-win public-private partnerships where we're both investing, we're both winning as a result of the work that we can do.
Now, let's talk about personal goals for yourself in this position and for where you want your division to go from this point on. Where do you see things going under your leadership?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm just so proud and happy to be a member of a great team here at Troy, a great leadership team, a great team in all respects. One of the things Troy has always been known for is being on the cutting edge, doing things that people haven't done before. The relationship with the military, online education, international engagement in campuses out there. I want to continue that tradition of innovation, quality and innovation. These are hallmarks of Troy, and we need to continue those. At the same time, we need to continue to expand that Trojan circle. So now, as we were just discussing, business and industry, we're already working with them, but let's expand that even more, enhance the relationship, and let's get out to more people and let them know what we're about, what that Trojan difference is and what the Trojan value is.
And so here's hoping that you'll be able to build some of those relationships and see a little more economic prosperity for the university under your leadership, Peter.
Absolutely.
So, well, I want to thank you for joining me on Trojan Talk and giving me the chance to introduce you to the Trojan community. Thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the first week of September 2014. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of TrojanVision Weekly. Have a good week.